and screen share. All right. Thanks, guys, for being on tonight's call. I'm going to share my screen and get rolling. All right. Oh, no, go back to the first slide. There we go. So welcome to tonight's call. It's called Posting with Purpose. Articulate your struggle to emancipate your audience. Very fancy title, I realize. But it's an important topic. Your hosts tonight are going to be Jess Kennedy, beautiful friend of mine. She's a wife, a mom of 3 with one on the way, so soon to be mom of 4. Due date, I think, in October. She's a retired teacher. She was a high school English teacher, full-time coach, 6-figure earner. She is 3-star diamond qualifying in her first business center, and she is a 1-star in her second business center. She's a Success Club 5 All-Star, founder of Team on the Run. She is a runner herself, and when, of course, she's not with baby, a nice glass of wine or a cold beer. And I also just have to say that Jess Kennedy is probably one of the most loyal friends you could ever dream to have, and is just always one of those people that is there for you morning, noon, or night. And she's the same as a coach. So any of you who are on her team are very blessed to have her. I'm going to let Jess Kennedy introduce our next host, if she can.
Yes, I'm going to unmute myself here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're good.
I want to talk about Jess Vigeland. I feel like I've known Jess forever, but really we probably met when I was about a year into my coaching business. And she is military wife. So she's lived lots and lots of different places. She's a mom of 4, ranging from ages, I'm testing myself here, ages like 14 down to 5 or 6. She's a 1-star diamond. She's a Success Club All-Star legend. This lady never misses a month, I swear. She's the founder and CEO of the Fit Flock. She loves lifting weights like a badass, and she enjoys a grapefruit shandy from time to time. I just think Jess's transformation, she inspires me so much, and I think she is proof that your transformation doesn't necessarily have to be a weight loss story. Okay, she went from being unhappy, and she likes to say skinny fat, very thin, to being very strong inside and outside. And I just think she is an amazing friend and someone I love working with. So I will turn it over to Jess Vigeland to introduce Amanda.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Hey, awesome. My pleasure to introduce my fearless leader, who I'm not sure where I would be without this woman, quite honestly. She's just one of those people that, like, she made me come out of my shell. And so Amanda Dewey, she is a wife, a mom of 4, a 7-star diamond in her first CBC, 2-star, 1-star, and 1-star. So that's a lot of CBCs. Holy moly. 3-time elite coach, 1-time premier coach, this close to a 7-figure earner. And she loves, I can't even say that kind of one. She loves Pinot and dark chocolate. They can be paired together, or she'll take them separate.
I love it. I absolutely love working with these ladies, and it's a pleasure to do this call tonight. In fact, it was Jess Kennedy that kind of came up with the idea. We were seeing a lot of attempted valuable posts that were flopping, quite honestly. Reading some posts amongst our peers, people far beyond us, and people just starting out in the business that were either making us uncomfortable or just seeing, maybe people air dirty laundry or things that were just a miss. And we thought, you know what, why don't we get together and put together some of the greatest posts that we've seen recently and kind of share the general do's and don'ts when we're posting, and specifically towards the area of, say, telling your story through either Transformation Tuesday or Throwback Thursday. So usually, of course, when we're doing a Transformation Tuesday or Throwback Thursday, we're going to talk about our areas of struggle. Many of you have heard turn your mess into a message, which is great, but your message also probably needs to touch on some of these areas. So common areas of struggle are going to be finances and money, of course. I think, my goodness, I don't know many people that haven't struggled at some point in their life with that issue. Marriage, and I should have added to that slide, divorce or remarriage, or, family rebuilding, or relearning how to be single. That topic could really kind of cover a lot of various areas. Next up, of course, parenting, motherhood, and all of the wonderful things that go along with that, because that's always perfect and never a struggle. We have, of course, our journey, our struggle, of course, with health, fitness, and or nutrition, and those could be separate together or anywhere in between. Then another common area of struggle is friendships, community, and I'll just kind of leave that one at that for now. And then lastly, and not because it's any less, but personal development, personal growth. And you could really put spirituality with that too. I'm not saying that from a religious term, because obviously that can be a little bit of a touchy subject, but anything that kind of falls in those areas are often areas where you're going to have a transformation or something that's really changed, that's noticeable since becoming a coach. So with those common areas in mind, we want to talk about some general do's and don'ts in sharing your story as it relates to any of those things. So we're going to start with the don'ts. I know it's not fun to start with the negatives, but I think it's important to lay the the groundwork for some of the things that we were seeing that were really just off. So first off, let's not rehash things from our past that just kind of sound like a Dear Diary. I think when we do those kind of Dear Diary posts, what inadvertently happens is that people get thrown under the bus because they're like, maybe they haven't been unfriended on Facebook, or maybe they're still friends with friends and it's going to get back to them. It's very awkward. Sometimes if other people are involved, it's just going to come off wrong. You're like, wow, they're really threw that person under the bus. And sometimes it can be a family member or spouse. So, there has to be some tact, let's put it that way with that. Don't share a portion of your story that's not yours to tell. And that, can be from a parenting aspect, you got to think about the fact that whatever you put on social media is going to be there forever. So, I'm just going to talk in areas like, people that live in my city. Say I post something about one of my kids that's either, incredibly embarrassing or, really, really personal. Well, then what if, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, a teacher remembers reading that about my kiddo, and that's kind of predisposed them to something, or a friend, or, a future someone's something. I mean, there's just a lot to think about when you're putting things out on social media. So you have to think twice about sharing a story that's not yours to tell. And that can go, like I said, for kids, that can go for your friends, that can go for your spouse, that can be a lot of things. And then also being passive aggressive. If it's at all passive aggressive, people are going to be like, wow, she's really actually not worked through this struggle. And obviously, people are just going to kind of see through that. And it's also very uncomfortable to read passive aggressive posts. I think we've all seen those. Sometimes it's hard to tell on ourselves. So we'll actually address that as well later. Also, don't overshare, give unnecessary details, or make people unnecessarily uncomfortable. I like to kind of compare this idea to, have you ever been at a movie theater and maybe been sitting, just imagine, I guess, a time when you were like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I don't know, my parents were pretty liberal, so I got to watch some pretty racy stuff from a pretty young age. But I remember watching a certain movie. I almost want to say it was Single White Female. And I think I was only like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I remember, you all know the scene, if you've seen the movie, a certain scene coming on and feeling so uncomfortable watching that movie with my mom in the room. Like the whole thing was just really awkward and uncomfortable, right? That's how some people are going to feel when you overshare. Okay. If you share too much about your life, yes, you may be an open book, but there's a lot of people on Facebook. Again, keeping in mind, you may run into your children's teachers someday, or, et cetera, et cetera. So consider all of those things before you're posting. Also, be careful in your wording. Yes, maybe you have overcome that struggle, but I like this saying, some of you have been doing Josh Coates' work, where he talks about being as confident as a rock star and as humble as a homeless person. And I think that's a great quote to keep in mind when you're sharing your struggle, especially one that you've overcome, because you want to be reaching some of the people that are still in that struggle. And if you're not humble about it, it's going to come off wrong, and they're not going to actually be attracted to you. And so you're actually going to be hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. This is probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Don't use stock photos, meaning like don't go to Google and type in cup of coffee and, screenshot a cup of coffee. Like, don't do that. And also, like, people overuse Pinterest and quotes from Pinterest and all that kind of stuff. Don't do that. And don't copy someone else's story word for word. Even if you feel like you could have written those words because that story is so similar, change it. You need to start over from scratch. You can be inspired by that story or that idea, but please don't copy someone else's words or plagiarize. Even if you ask, just don't ask. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. And then lastly, in your sharing posts, don't post links or sell. Now, you are going to have a call to action, but that call to action shouldn't be a sale right there within the post. Your call to action is more often going to be a call to action to connect with you in a more deeper way or meaningful way or somewhere else. So those are your general don'ts. So let's get past the negatives and move on to some of the general do's. So when you are posting, you do want to make sure that you're connecting the post back to your health, fitness, and coaching journey, meaning your posts need to be relevant. And that kind of leads into the next do. Ask yourself, so what? Meaning, is it relevant? Are you posting just to post, or are you actually adding value? Are you articulating your struggle so you can emancipate your followers? Because if the answer is no, you shouldn't post it. No post, blank space, is so much better in the case of sharing your story than something overshared, not personal, tasteless, etc., etc. Do also use pictures of you and in good lighting if at all possible. Of course, there was a lot of poor lighting in our Throwback Thursday pictures. Everybody understands that. Also, though, if you're using quotes, which everybody loves those motivational Mondays, right? Take the darn quote, put it on your picture. Heck, you guys, you can use, Facebook has an ad text app when you're doing it from your phone. I'm sure you can do it on your computer too, but I never looked. You can literally add text on Facebook if nothing else. It doesn't have to be fancy. But stop using pretty pictures that someone else has created. Use your face, use a picture of you doing something with your family, whatever, and put that quote on that picture. Do use bullet points and white space. Generally, when we're telling our story, it's a longer story. It's not just a couple of lines. So what I like to encourage people to do is after every 2 to 3 lines, and I know that seems like a lot, but every 2 to 3 lines, just create a new paragraph. I know the English teachers in here, and I have an English degree as well, are cringing because you're like, that's not really a paragraph break. I don't care. Visually, what you want people to see when they're scrolling their newsfeed is not a huge block of text. Those huge block of text scare me, and I like to read. People, you got to think of people are in the Twitter mindset. If they can't read it in 124 characters or less, they don't want to read it. So you want to rope them in by thinking it's less than 124 characters by having that white space in there or bullet points with a lot of spacing, okay? That's a really, 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 really important one because you could have the best picture and the best story, but if it's a big block of text, people are going to scroll past it. They just won't read it. And if they haven't read it, oh my God, why does that keep happening? If they haven't read it, then your time was wasted. Pay attention to the time of day for your value posts. I see sometimes a lot of people posting really super early in the morning, which tends not to do really well. However, if it works for you, then maybe your audience it does work well for. But for me, value posts work best at about 8 p.m. So yes, it's Transformation Tuesday, but you won't see me post till about 8 p.m. about it. Same thing on Throwback Thursday. It's just when more people are online. Dinner's done, kids are in bed, and they're scrolling Facebook. And then, of course, we talked about the general areas of struggle. So you may not have one in every one of those, but you'll probably have areas of struggle in several. And you want to rotate through that. You do want to retell your story and retell it often, but not every week. So if every week the only story you're telling is how you lost 15 pounds with the 3-day refresh, and you've been telling that story every single Tuesday for the last 12 weeks, you need a new story, okay? Find something new, and find a different way to talk about the same topics. So with that said, we're gonna move into a couple of sample posts with great pictures and text that are gonna give you a better idea of what you should be doing. So here we go. I know this is a lot, so I am gonna read it out loud, but first off, great picture, right? Great lighting, unique angles, great colors. You're thinking, what the heck are they doing? And the post starts, marriage is hard. I almost gave up on it. When our now young adult kids were 2 and 3 years old, Mick and I hit a very rough patch. He was working 6 days a week at the car lot and spent the 7th day paying bills, catching up on chores. I was tired, lonely, and insecure. I was desperate for some adult interaction, but always ended up waist-high deep in diapers, dishes, and dinosaur toys. I decided to get a job at Outback Steakhouse to give myself some adult conversations and fun money, but what it did was make me an absent wife and mom. I stayed after my shift, eating and hanging out. There was one particular day I'll always remember. I was in the back folding napkins, and I was told someone was looking for me up front. I bounced up there, and a very smug-looking man said, "Are you Melissa McAllister?" I said, "Yes," and he handed me a manila envelope saying, "You've been served." I walked to the back of the store to open my envelope, and my heart sank. They were divorce papers. I don't blame Mick. I was acting very immature, irresponsible, and selfish. He tried to be patient with me, but I just didn't want to go back to the diapers, dishes, and dinosaur toys. There was no infidelity or abuse. Why couldn't we keep this together? Why were we falling apart? Thankfully, he accepted my offer to take a trip to Australia on our credit card and just be together. We needed to try and figure out if our marriage was worth saving. Of course it was. We will celebrate our 22nd marriage anniversary this year. If this resonates with you, please allow me to offer you some advice because I've been there. Don't take half responsibility, take full responsibility. You can change everything. You can stay home and take not all of the financial burden off your partner, doing something you enjoy. You can stay home and surround yourself with some fun adult conversations every day, even if it's a video conference or a call with a teammate. You can be a fit mom, feeling confident, sexy, and lovable. My passion runs deep, so deep for couples who said, "I do," and meant it for life, but are now struggling to keep that commitment because they didn't expect it to be so hard. Guess what? It doesn't have to be. You can change everything. Mick and I were there, and we'd love to help you over the same hurdle we too had in our marriage. You deserve the time and freedom to enjoy each other. Decide to take full responsibility and make that change because change just won't happen over time. www.teammadeonline.com. So you're looking at the image. I'm going to have you just take one last look. And then I'm going to say, let's talk about some do's that Melissa did. She had a good use of white space. Yes? I'm going to scroll back. See how every few sentences there's space? Okay? She had an eye-catching picture. She did not speak poorly of Mick. I'm sure she had her own frustrations with him, but she did not share them there, right? She just spoke about her own issues, right? She came from a place of reflection, and they obviously have overcome that struggle. She spoke to an experience many of us relate to. Now, I'm going to exit out of here, and I want to know what else. Share anything else you noticed. You can share in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves. I'm going to let you unmute yourselves first. Anything else? Pastor Jess, you can add as well.
She connected it to her business rather than just talking about her marriage.
Yes. What else? I'm going to go to the chat box here. Sorry. Where is my Zoom, people? I have no idea where you are. I don't know how to find you. Well, if you're chatting, too bad, because I can't find you. I don't know. I don't know where you are. Can you unmute yourselves? No? Fine. Be that way. Anybody else have anything to add for dues for Melissa?
I can see the chats.
Okay.
I can see the chats. Tracy Wiles says she had a call to action.
Yes.
At the end. Taryn says she had a simple website link at the end of her post.
Yes. Great. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that's it. Anybody else notice anything? That she did well? She posted it well, I guess I don't know. I saw it at night. I guess I don't know what time she posted it, but I know I saw it in the evening at a time where my kids are in bed, and it was probably, I mean, I am her audience, right? So it was a good time of day for me to see this post pop up.
Yep, I saw it too. And actually, I know that I was in bed because I looked at Bill and I said, look at this. So obviously.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Janelle. I was just, in addition to everything else, I just felt like she showed their togetherness now and it looks strong. They both look really strong because, you know, she's being very vulnerable. So she's kind of contrasting visually, like where she's at now.
Yeah.
So it's very inspiring. Like, you know, people would, you know, like you guys have said, I mean, that's just so many people can relate to her story and to think like this could be a way to connect with people so that they could have some of these same achievements that her and her husband have as a couple.
Yeah. And she turned it really encouraging. You know, there was a lot of encouraging words. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Brenda, Janelle, those are really good points. I agree. Brenda said in the chat box, she started with a sentence that pulled you in.
Yeah.
And the pose they're doing is very trusting. Mick could have dropped her anytime, LOL.
I like that. Yeah, you guys are catching some good stuff.
Yeah, I know. Janelle and Brenda are having more insight than I did.
Yeah, me too.
Nice work, ladies.
I love that.
I thought it was very eloquent, too, the way she wrote it.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it shows the care and concern. If she's going to post like that, love you, good night. If she's going to post like that, you know, just to her general audience, think about what she's going to post when you're working with her in a small group, right?
Right.
Okay. So we're going to move on to another post. And I'm going to share this one. So you see the picture on the left, beautiful wording, Transformation Tuesday. And that's our Jess Kennedy right there with her hubby, Jason, and Beckett in the belly. And then baby number 4, which is baby girl Kennedy. So Transformation Tuesday. This first picture is from 2009 when Jason and I were expecting baby Beckett to join our family any day. We had been married a little over a year, had been together for 8 years, and had always talked about only 2 kids. Yes, as Jess's friend, I know this. I remember having this conversation many times, and it was always 2 kids. Anyways, I digress. That's it. In fact, there was a time before I got pregnant with my little man that the doctor had warned me, after years of unresolved reproductive issues and severe endometriosis, that babies may not even be a possibility for me. I went through 2 surgeries on my uterus and was told to get trying sooner than later. Well, it's later. Surprise! After 3 healthy and very planned pregnancies and babies, we were blessed with the unexpected news that we were welcoming another Kennedy to the crew. And I say blessed because I absolutely know how lucky I am. But fact, I cried when I saw the 2 pink lines on the test. I love babies, and in my heart, there was a little part of me that wasn't sure I was ready to close that chapter. But I also wanted it to be a decision that my husband and I actually made together. And I certainly had many fears and reservations. What would people think? Moms of large families, you know you've been there. More importantly, what would my husband think? You know Jason is the nicest man around, so he was less freaked out than I was. How would this new arrival disrupt the already insane day-to-day routine I had with my kiddos? Would all my children get the attention they needed? Would Jason and I ever be able to spend time together again? And would one more child put stress on our relationship? Would the baby be healthy? Would I ever sleep again? Like, for real, people? I worked really dang hard to get in shape at 35 after 3 babies and even ran a marathon. Looks like that journey has taken a big detour. But unlike the first time I was pregnant, this time I was not worried about how I would afford or find good daycare, how I would go back to work and leave my newborn after only 12 weeks, how I would pay for this baby to be in activities, how I would save extra for her college tuition, how I would be able to go on vacations with such a large family, and where on earth I would put this bundle of joy because we had already decided to list our 1,300 square foot home and move into something bigger thanks to my, quote, job from home. All because I decided to take a risk and walk away from my career to be my own boss. Now I still have worries just as every mom does, but I'm assured that I have designed a life for my family that allows us to ride the wave of the unexpected and know that we will be okay. In fact, we're better than okay. We are lucky indeed. Why not you? Team on the Run, mompreneur. So I'll give you one last look. And then I'm going to say, it's your turn. Can you share in the chat box what Jess did well? And one of the Jesses who can see the chat box, because for some reason I can't see it, if you would share.
Jess, do you want me?
Yeah, just Vigeland, if you can see the chat box, go ahead.
I thought I could anyways. Hold on one second. I'm not sure who it is, but asterisks and bullet points, contrasting previous worries and current non-worries. Very good one. Related to her biz. Angela said Jess made sure the message was positive at the end, despite the concerns mentioned. She also made it relevant to the business opportunity. Stephanie said vulnerable and relatable, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jess Veland, did you want to add anything?
I just genuine, extremely genuine. I actually remember Jess Kennedy sending me the message about surprise baby Kennedy number 4, and she was so worried about telling Jason and everything, and she just, she let people know how she truly felt about it. So yeah, she did all of the do's and none of the don'ts. I think she took what could have been super uncomfortable and just made it perfect. I don't think any of us could have said it better ourselves. So wonderful example, again, of how to talk about finances, really. Because did you even realize that's what she was talking about? But that's and that's exactly what she was talking about, right? So it's kind of crazy how that all kind of came together. That was a really sneaky way to talk about money without being like, look at how much money I make, right? All right, Jess Kennedy, I'm going to hand it over to you.
This is like one of my all-time favorite posts, so I'm so excited to talk about it. We've got a Transformation Tuesday here from Jess Vigeland, and you can see, she has a before and after picture. And one thing I love about this before and after is that it is not a weight loss story. Now, I have a weight loss story, so that's obviously like a really easy before and after picture for me to use. But I mean, look at this, just even the body language in the contrast between the two pictures. And we've got super skinny mom here versus super strong mom here. So I just think it's really powerful. So she catches your eye with her choice of images. And it says, Transformation Tuesday, the Why and Sam Hell, Are You Still Awake? It's Almost Wednesday edition, which I think is hilarious because right here she's acknowledging the fact that she posted at an undesirable time. but it doesn't matter because she's caught our attention, right? Right. So it's late. We're still reading this. And she said, I'm awake because I got to share this. I got to share my story more often because I don't find me overly interesting or amazing. I might just inspire someone out there to create a few changes like I have along the way. Maybe, just maybe, there's a woman who feels like I did and can relate. So here we go. To the me on the left is 28 years old. I had 3 beautiful reasons to be happy, so I tried the best I could. It was our 4th duty station. I was a stay-at-home mom and a family childcare provider. Tons of cuddles and little smiles to keep me going each day for sure. I was fine, but was I? This me on the left had on a size 0 pair of shorts and the ass is sagging. She felt like a little girl. She was tired all the time and couldn't wait for nap time to roll around. She'd undergone 3 root canals in the past 6 years because she was so nutrient deficient that her teeth were failing her. She woke up early every morning to have a cup of coffee and a cigarette before her daycare kids arrived, and as soon as she left, she'd bust open a Blue Moon and smoke some more. She thought she ate well. Boy, was she wrong. She couldn't run a quarter of a mile or do 10 push-ups or even touch her toes. She didn't feel like she needed any sort of personal development to train her mind. She was fine, remember? She always put herself last and on the back burner. She wanted to change. She wanted the willpower to stop doing the shitty stuff and start doing things her future self would thank her for, but she had no idea how. Fast forward 7 years later to the me on the right. 35 years old. I now have 4 beautiful reasons to be happy. 4 reasons this mama made some big changes to go from weak and scrawny to strong and sculpted. So what's changed? Well, the mom on the right, she feels empowered. She's grown. Seems odd that there's a victory, but come on, my husband used to joke that he sponsored me, and I hated it, filling out my size 4s and loving it. She doesn't need naps anymore, or coffee for that matter. She hasn't had one cavity or tooth issue other than an old deep filling crack in 4 years. She's been sick maybe 3 times tops in the past 4 years. She hasn't smoked in over 4 years. She occasionally has a beer or a glass of wine, but fears the next day feeling like poop. She wakes up early each morning to run her past play, to sweat, and to create kick-ass endorphins. She can run half marathons, do lots of push-ups, and touch her toes. She fuels with superfoods and plenty of good, clean proteins, tons of veggies, fruit, and lots of healthy fats. She's finally figured out how. She floods her mind with good reads, podcasts, motivational calls, and advice from others who have been successful. She knows now that taking care of herself isn't selfish, it's crucial. And then she teaches her daughter and sons that they should too. So what's changed? All it took was the realization that I was tired of being sick and tired of feeling like shit, tired of not liking what I saw when I looked in the mirror, tired of shying away from my husband. So I made an investment in me. One attempt to get me back. I knew I wanted to be stronger, knew something had to do the trick. Can you relate? There's a certain point where enough is enough and you just can't keep going in the same direction. I had no idea where to start or what to do, and the gym was out of the question. I didn't have time for that.
Mic drop. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, there's no slide there, Jess, so I feel free.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So this post, guys, I had to share this with, and I know it's probably super awkward for Jess to listen to me read this post because it's super awkward for me, but I shared this with my team like immediately that next morning when I woke up and saw it because I just thought this was such a powerful post. And so I would love for you guys to tell me what stood out to you that Jess did really well in this post that you liked. You can unmute yourself or pop it in the chat box and I can open the chat box too. Let's see. Taryn says, I love this post too. I read it while I was at work and I almost cried. It's interesting that she spoke to herself in the third person. Yes. Love the comparison used. It really engages you. It's relatable and engaging. She showed what she was feeling inside with facial expressions in both pics, which I agree. I love that. Love the post showing that fit isn't just about being skinny. It's about self-worth. I love seeing the transformation that wasn't weight loss related and focusing on mom learning it was crucial to take care of herself. I agree. I really think that Jess does a great job speaking to her audience, like directly to women who have been where she is, at least can relate to some part of her story, whether you're a military mom or a mom of multiple children or a mom who just doesn't take care of herself and is unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely love that one. And as someone who's known Jess Vigeland since, I don't know, kindergarten, something like that. And I know that, Jess does a really great job of servicing those people. Like, she's maintained a lot of connections from where we grew up. And I know, reading that and knowing her for so long, I would have, and even knowing her through coaching, I wouldn't have guessed a lot of the stuff that she shared there. So I think when you can share things that surprise people who have known you for almost forever, but still do so with taste and with meaning, that I think is really powerful as well.
I agree. Kayla wrote, I like that she was real. I don't like too much sugarcoating, so a few curse words were nice. I agree. I feel like she's speaking to her audience, and Jess's audience is me and Amanda, and I'm not going to be offended by a few curse words. Like, to me, that doesn't bother me. It makes me be like, this is a chick I could hang with, have a great shandy with. So.
And it probably helps me weed out people that are going to be uncomfortable with me in person. Because for so long, I would try not to swear on social media. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then I have all these Christians knocking at my door, and they're surprised when I'm dropping F-bombs left and right. Like, there needs to be a warning if you work with me. That's a great way to just dangle it out there a little bit.
All right. This one is from Amanda, and I loved this one because, well, I'm in that picture for one. No. And I'm so happy to be in her community. But I love this post because it truly, like, gives us an idea of how close knit we really are as a team, and what this can do for people like Amanda, who felt alone at one point, and myself, and so many other ones. So the girl in the top picture was so alone. I moved to Texas in 2003. Be quiet. Sorry, guys.
Is Katie?
No, he's not. My office is a little off tonight. I moved to Texas in 2003, and here, 5 years later, I had but 1 to 2 friends I truly connected with. Sure, I had stressed out play dates with other moms, and my phone is timing out, and we chatted about the kids' diapers, who had what illness, and how tired and stressed we were, but I wouldn't call that friendship, really. The girl in the top picture had nothing of her own except for a strong love for her little boys, and a sense that life should feel better than this, should feel fuller. The girl in the bottom pic, the one in the blue dress on the bottom right, you see that sexy one there, is surrounded literally by real, true friends. Friends who, of course, know my kids, but who are truly interested in me and me in them. Friends who I can talk about dreams, fears, goals, silly stories, you name it. This girl's life feels full, complete, happy. There are many areas of my life that have been affected by coaching, but I think the area I treasure the most are the lifelong friends I've made, the lifelong relationships I have that continue to grow and evolve, bringing an overwhelming joy to my life. Grateful, transformed, at peace. And the hashtags are in there too. Transformation Tuesday, friendship, joy, meaning, purpose, passion, rockstar presenter. Hey, go. Sorry, guys. All right. I totally see all the amazing, do's in this post, but how about you guys?
I can't play.
I'm going to mute myself for a minute.
I can't see the chat box, Jess, so if they're saying anything, I have no idea.
Oh, I can read it. Ellen says, so relatable. I agree. I think that any of us who've ever moved or who ever been a young mom or a new mom and just are struggling to find a community. She connected it back to coaching. Let's see. Ellen says she brings it back to coaching. Taryn said, I love this post. I can't wait to get to this point. Yeah. Angela says, I connected to this a lot because it's easy to feel isolated when you're a stay-at-home mom. Yes. Word. I need to post about that myself. Erin says, no one ever talks about how motherhood is lonely. It's relatable and it gives a sense of community. Yes. Aubrey says, great use of white space. Stephanie says, it offers hope. B. Foster says, love the emphasis on friendship and community. Stephanie says, totally been there.
Yes, and I totally agree. And I love the fact, Amanda, that, you know, you didn't like anybody through the dirt. You didn't call out any of those like women that, you know, just weren't really good friends. But
I know. That was one of those ones I was like, I could have totally thrown people under the bus. Just kidding.
Because I've totally been there. I mean, it's nice to have acquaintances, but it's so nice to have true friends. So, in summary, guys, I want to apologize. I'm so sorry for the noise. I'm at my sister's tonight, and it's a little crazy. So, to summarize and go back on a few of those important do's, connect the post back to your health, fitness, or coaching journey. Ask yourself, so what? Use picture view and in good lighting when possible. Use bullet points and or white space. Pay attention to the time of day for value and story posts. Rotate through various struggles. And it's okay to repeat themes, but not word for word.
Jess Kennedy, this is you. I don't.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, can unmute myself. So here's our call to action for you guys. Okay, so yes, we are recording, but I would like for you to take some notes on this. Okay, which I know you've been taking notes, but write this down. This is your assignment. I want you to make a calendar with Tuesdays and Thursdays and plan out your topics for the next 6 weeks. Okay, Transformation Tuesday, Throwback Thursday. I don't know, Amanda, do you think they can do a Motivation Monday?
Yeah, they could.
For the next 6 weeks. So that's a couple times a week for 6 weeks. That's a lot of posts. Okay, I'm not a math teacher.
Like 12 to 15. So.
Meet with your sponsor coach.
Oh, your success partner.
Success partner, sorry.
Sorry, I don't want to meet with 25 people. Love you guys.
No, that's I was like, huh? With your success partner. Sorry, I did not understand the abbreviation.
Sorry.
To discuss your chosen areas, and we even talked about this, Amanda, so I should know this.
No,
and ideas on how you can address said topic. Because I know right now you're like, man, I got to plan out how many posts. This is going to be crazy. I don't know what to talk about. I'm not that interesting. I don't have a story. I know these thoughts are going through all your heads right now, right? So I want you to connect with your success partner to figure out what exactly you're going to address, different aspects, and just start brainstorming. I know Jess Eaglin and I brainstormed like yesterday. I was like, I don't know, I want to do a Transformation Tuesday, but I don't know what to post about. And I wanted to post about my marriage, but I didn't want to do it in a way that was tacky. And so we kind of went back and forth a little bit about talking about it. So that's what I want you guys to do. Bounce your ideas off someone. They'll help you flesh it out. Find appropriate pictures and have them ready on whatever device you'll post from. And that's kind of a time commitment, guys, but it's worth it. Know your call to action. Follow me, subscribe, join me, any of those. If I'm talking to you, you know, like you want to have a call to action at the end. Like, what do you want people to do with this post? Before hitting post, call your success partner and read it out loud to them. Let them edit and ask your spouse if applicable. Also, if you're posting about your spouse, ask them if it's okay, right? I know it sounds like dumb, but I asked my spouse before I posted yesterday if it was okay, because he's my partner in this business and in life, and I wanted to make sure didn't rub him the wrong way because he was part of the post that I was making. And just let them edit. Look for spelling errors and white space and that kind of stuff. Is it too long, not long enough? Does it relate back to your business? And your success partner should know because they'll listen to this call if it fits the criteria. And then tag Amanda, Jess K, and Jess V for the next 3 or 4 so we can provide feedback. And don't be shy about asking for feedback at all. So that's your call to action. So I'm just going to give you a second, guys, to jot these down because I'm super excited to see the posts you come up with. Some of you guys are rocking your posts already. So
I'm going to give you one more second as well, and then I'm going to go to the last slide, and then I'm going to try to find you back somehow, and we'll open up for just a really quick Q&A for just about 5 minutes. So, all right, I love this. If there's no struggle, there is no progress. So for those of you that are saying, well, this is all great, but I am just so scared to share any of this. Oh, Jess Kennedy, you might remember. What's Brene Brown's quote about? I don't know what it is, but basically when you see other people share vulnerabilities, you think, oh my gosh, they're so strong, right? All those posts tonight, you probably thought, wow, they're so strong. But when we think about doing it ourselves, we feel not strong, right? We feel weak, we feel afraid. But just keep that in mind. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. So when you share your struggle, you're really and truly able to articulate it well. You give other people the freedom to talk about those areas as well. I know when another example of that is just whenever I started talking about anxiety. That's probably one of the most popular posts I've had all year. And because I was able to articulate that struggle, it gave everybody else the freedom to talk about something that is so hush-hush. So realize that as scary as it is, if that post of yours helps people, it's important for you to share it. So let me get out of here. How do I open this? Okay, stop share. There you are. Yay, you're back. You're back. Okay. Feel free to unmute yourselves or type in the chat box again. Any questions you have for Jess, or I. Remember, if you guys don't have questions, we'll go to bed crying tonight. So Brenda says, Sarah and I got this. How will we be giving you feedback? We will comment below and tell you all the things you did wrong. No, I'm just kidding. We'll make sure to send you a private message. And obviously, talk to you privately. We won't call you out in front of everybody. Who's MD Rosales? Wave your hand. Are you a waver? Can you wave? Hi. Okay. I'm not going to bother to guess your age. Type your age in or hold up a number. 42. You mean to tell me you are 42 and you have never grown in any area of your life? I highly doubt it. I'm going to say I highly doubt it. I am sure that if you sat down across the lunch table with me and we chatted, I would learn so much from your life experiences. Okay? Now, you may not have had a huge transformation. Yeah, backward. You know what? And that's okay too. Going backwards recently is okay because acknowledging where you are at is so okay. We should have done one of those posts. You know who immediately pops to mind? Is she on here tonight? Alicia Ianatoli is amazing at posting regression posts. So follow her. Will someone, I don't have both hands because I can't type. Will someone type Alicia Ianatoni's name in there for Miss Rosales so that she can follow her and see how she kind of does the backwards ones? But honestly, I would for sure learn a lot from you if you and I were sitting across each other from the lunch table. So maybe something for you to consider in some of your posts is sitting down and writing a post to the 18-year-old, I'm sorry, what's your first name? Because I feel bad calling you by your last name. Monica, thank you. Monica, maybe you write a note to the 18-year-old Monica about marriage, about money, about taking care of your body. Do you see where I'm going with that? I think that you can speak to that person, and that's going to start to grow your audience, and that transformation is relevant. Does that make sense? Okay.
I really think, Monica, that people, and I know I preach this, but I really think it's true. People don't necessarily relate to perfection. If you talk about how you, thank you, Amanda. I can't ever spell her last
Sorry,
name.
I didn't mean to do it in all caps.
I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know how to
Caps lock.
pronounce her last name half the time.
Sorry.
I think that people don't always relate to perfection. And if you admit that you've had a backwards transformation lately, that's okay. People want to be part of your journey, and it makes you relatable and it makes you real, and that's okay. I really think it's okay to share that.
Me too. I'm Snapchatting our phone call.
Brenda says she has a hard time with serious posts, and when she's vulnerable, she gets crickets every time. Maybe it is my writing.
Tag us, Brenda, in the next few that you make. Are you writing them, or is Sarah writing them? Okay, so read them out loud to Sarah, and maybe that will help. Okay, start with that and then start tagging us. I think, Brenda, and I'm just giving you this advice because I know you well. I think for you, because people only know silly Brenda, I think you're going to have to dabble in the more serious stuff and or make it funny. Have something funny in the very beginning, like Jess Vigeland did with, like, you know, why we're still up so late, or, you know, that kind of thing. I think something about your post has to be recognizable right away, and then weave it back to the more vulnerable and serious, and then come back to it. Does that make sense, Brenda? Yeah, and I think just having Sarah look at it too.
Or maybe, I guess what pulls people in is my goofball pictures. So maybe do one of my silly pictures and then turn the verbiage. Okay.
Yeah. Something.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah, something contrast, because I think that would be better for you.
Yeah, Taryn just said the same thing. Like her most received one, she kind of intertwined the two. And yeah, Brenda, you are, I mean, you know, I think that's what people look to you for. So when you throw something at them that's kind of like really serious, they're probably don't really know what to think about it. They're like, whoa, shit, what?
Exactly. And where else did we just talk about feeling uncomfortable? You know, like sometimes when you're too serious, it's uncomfortable, and you're thinking, Jesus, do I need to like message her? Is she okay? And I'm not saying that about any of your posts specifically, but, you know, sometimes like you read those posts, or like if the story is sad and the picture is sad, then I just walk away feeling sad, you know, or you know what I'm saying? So I think that Taryn's really onto something there with making sure that there's some kind of contrast. So if your story's sad, maybe you have a happy picture, you know, or if it's super serious, maybe a funnier picture, you know, just something to kind of make people know that you're okay, you know. I don't know.
A turn that frown upside down type of post.
Yes. No, it's not uncomfortable. Angela, yes, you got to talk about past eating disorders. I've done that in the past. I know Nicole Baker has also done that, and she's done it very, very well. It's something, again, like I said, talking about anxiety disorder. It is an uncomfortable topic, but when you talk about it, you open the door for other people. You know, like Jess Vigeland opened a door. Like a lot of people don't want to hear skinny people talk about their weight journey, but the way she did it was really powerful, and people related to that. You know, it's going to be the same thing when you talk about a past eating disorder on either end of it. It can be uncomfortable, but again, I think if you add some positivity to it, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about.
People need to hear that. There's a woman out there that you could save her life by talking about it. I know that sounds corny, but it's true.
Yeah.
You'll say it in a tasteful way.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, oh gosh, so many people need to hear that story, especially. And I think too, being in the fitness business, we live in such a bubble of what we think looks normal. And really, being able to make that shift, especially for you, to just healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Great story, important one to tell. I look forward to reading it.
You.
Yes, Aubrey, that's the quote. Thank you. When you show up authentic, you create space for others to do the same. And absolutely, the universe appreciates and rewards that. So it has been an hour, my friends. I don't mean to cut anybody off, but you all know where to find us. So this recording will be made available, I don't know, maybe tomorrow if I'm lucky. I'll let you know, but I'll get it to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much for spending an hour with us tonight. I so look forward to reading everybody's new and improved posts. And thank y'all. Have a good night. Bye.